This is a way that I can know that I've done something nice for them, but also to know I did something that I think they would be very pleased with.
If you did want to have them cremated, they didn't have to be ashes or they could be spilled.
She didn't want to be buried. She didn't want to be in the ground.
You know, you cannot take life insurance out on an unborn child. A lot of people don't take into account what kind of end-of-life expenses there could be.
When they are touching this, they are actually touching their loved one and not just a memory of that loved one.
I can tell you, I don't think that the product will influence anyone. It'll comfort them. And by comforting them, that's what we're all about, because that's a family that's well served.
I myself, and I think my dad, leaned more towards this than just ashes in an urn or ashes in a locket, or just the ashes blown to the wind, because there's no closure that way. This way, she's home. We can touch her. It's more personal, I think, with her there. If we were to pick up and move for any reason, we can take her with us. She's not in a cemetery somewhere that we have to drive miles to go see. It was like bringing her home again.
Cemeteries are so full that you better make arrangements ahead of time. You better know what you're doing. You better make sure there's space when you make a promise to someone. Here's John relaxing, which he didn't do often. Before you know it, here's what you have. He was such a good man. I had to keep my promise, and I started to think the evening before, when I started finding out how things were going to be, that I might not be able to pull off what I promised John. And then I found, with the way you're doing things, he fit right there. And it just all came together. It was beautiful.
The Montgomerys were dear friends who both had been teachers and retired to Florida, then moved back to Illinois, and I had the privilege of bringing them into the retirement village where I was working. Both asked me if I would be willing to be their POA as well as their executor. As we approached their final days, we were starting to realize that there was no family around, and so we needed to think about what we needed to do for them for their final preparations, and they both wanted to be cremated. I just wasn't sure what I needed to do because they had left me no guidance on what to do with the cremains. And now if for instance, a long-lost family member would appear, I would have something I could say, here it is. You know, this is your memory, and you may have this. I feel like it's something that's portable, but also something that is going to be more cost-effective too.
Mom actually had informed me about the options with the stones that Lifespan does, and I knew immediately it was exactly what I wanted to do. We struggled for 9 years to achieve pregnancy, and we wanted nothing more than to bring a baby home, and this product allowed us to do that.
Well, we build a memorial garden in our backyard. Basically, it's a spot where friends, family, neighbors can come to visit her as well as us. Gives us something to remember her by. In building the garden itself, it gave us a way to grieve through.
We both really felt like this gave us that one spot that not only could we have Hope Stone, but that we had this area that we could constantly groom, take care of, maintain in a roundabout way that kind of means to us that we're taking care of Hope as well. We found out actually a few weeks ago that we are pregnant again.
Because she chose a Lifespan, she actually has her child there with her that she can touch, she can visualize, and she can have with her. A year from now, 10 years from now, when she finally has that closure, if she feels like having a burial at that point, she can do that. The memorial It's very nice. It's not factory made. Everyone is personally made. Everyone is handcrafted individually. With Lifespan, they have different options and colors. If your loved one loved the color red or blue, they can incorporate those colors into the memorial. That way, it reflects more of the person than a cookie cutter type memorial.
Naturally, any funeral director, as we know, we're slow to move. We're a very conservative industry. I think it's almost been emotional for families to be able to hold the products, and that tangible presence is very comforting to them. Many times when you talk about traditional burial, people will worry about 5, 6, 7 days from the time that a person or their loved one would pass away to the time that the burial itself would take place. This is done on the level of, and this is raw funeral service. It's done on the level when they're emotionally ready to place the memento into a graveside or into a special location. And that location can be wide-ranging, from anywhere from their sports choices to universities to the family space at the cemetery. Think about it. We're working for these folks. We will do anything they like, and the great thing about it is Lifespans allows that to happen.